welcome to America's Home Cooking. I have a pork loin filet here. It's not seasoned or anything. And I've already just chunked up some 3 cloves of garlic. I have 5 scallions here. You're gonna need a mortar and pestle. I'm also using dehydrated mushrooms that I did. And I'm going to do some parsley, and we're going to work with the no salt herb blend that we made. I'm trying something. I don't know if it's going to work, but like I tell you, sometimes you get in the kitchen and you get an idea, you just want to execute it. So we're going to execute it. Now, if it's going to work or not is the problem. We don't know that yet. And I have some parsley here. I couldn't even tell you how much. I need my chopping. Most of the time when you see a pork loin filet, they've already had it seasoned or this or that to it. But I want to do it myself. Put this in a mortar and pestle. So I'm going to need this for the pork loin. Dehydrated mushrooms. How much? I guess about a tablespoon. Sorry, I'm not exact always, especially when I'm experimenting. You're going to add some oil to this, and we are going to make a paste out of this. It's not really going to be a paste, but what I'm actually doing is breaking the garlic up and releasing the onion, the scallions, and the parsley fluid and flavors before I add the other. As you do it, you'll smell the flavors coming together. Now, how much oil? I don't know. But see, it is smashing down very nicely. The onion's gonna make me cry. This is that no salt blend I talked about. We're going to add this into here now. Add as much as for the flavor that you're looking for. But remember, a lot of people who just use water and they don't use stocks and stuff that they make. They just use plain things like potatoes peeled and they have no flavor, and rice and stuff. You'll probably use less seasonings, but when you start adding these stocks and making these rich gravies and all, you notice you have to go a little heavy-handed on your seasoning so you can get the effect that you're looking for. That's why you see me pour sometimes a little more than you'd say, that's a lot. But that's because I have stocks and stuff that I'm adding with it, and I do make it more nutritious. And when I start doing that, you can start filling it. Hasn't really, oh boy, is that hard you can get to me. You might want to put a little less onion in it. Okay. A young girl, which was really nice, she said she hopes to be a cook as good as me. You know something? She'll probably be better than me. And I wish her all the luck. Listen and learn from the elders who cook. Learn those terminologies, and you will probably surpass me by leaps and bounds. Yes, I know, I did vegetables on this and so is the pork, but it's all going down in one dish, so I am not going to sit there and cry about it. Well, let's see, how do I want to do this? I just might want to overlap it. A boning knife is the best one to do with this because it's very pointed and very thin, and this is what they look like. These are very sharp. They can get into the meat if you want to make a pocket. It helps slice the meat nice and thin if you want. So these are really very good to have. Let's see, if I cut it in half, I could just pack it in here, couldn't I? Now, is this going to work? I have no idea, and I'm going to keep on telling you that because I don't want you to say it didn't work. Well, I don't know if it's going to work. I'm trying. I'm just trying something. That's all. You see how this knife cuts? That's how easy it is. See, as you cut it, you can lay it down. So see, it's not really that hard. What am I doing? I'm actually going to cut another pocket in it. I might not be doing it right. Like I told you, I'm not a butcher. I'm a cook. So I've never been real good at this, but some people are, and I wish them the very best on it, but I am not. If you have a butcher who do this for you, that's really nice, but they usually want some extra money, and money is tight. I know it's tight for them too, but they get good money in the union. Can I cut this one? just cut through that area. Well, not perfect, but I'll get through it one way or another. Okay. I made a few holes. I made some boo-boos. Okay, let's get this going this way. See if we can cut this and bring this over some here. Yeah. Now remember, I do not know how this is going to taste because we're winging this one today. It was on sale. I wasn't going to buy it, and I said, you know, buy it. Just buy it. You can always use it another day. And I said, well, that's true. That's usually what I do. Okay. That's what I wanted to do. Okay. I'm sorry you're not right on top of it with me here. I didn't think about that at the time. I was thinking more, I'm going to cut it. And I figured they'll season in the inside, and the oil would be nice. We're going to get rope and tie this up. Well, not rope. They call it twine. Where is my twine? I have it somewhere in here. I usually have it on the first shelf. Oh, climb. I know you saw that I didn't add any salt. I don't want it to dry out. There's not a lot of fat on it. I have to put fat on top of it just to get it to work. Now to contain your herbs and stuff, you're gonna have to tie this tight. As you can see, I'm struggling to do that. Do both ends. If you do the middle workout, you're going to push everything out. So you close those ends up first, and then you can move forward. That was a mistake I had made a long time ago. I did not believe I did that. And will the meat shrink? Yes, it will. So even if you tie it tight, you're still going to have that problem. No, you gotta go under here. Set your oven for 350. Crescent rolls were so good, we demolished them. There's not one left in the house. They go that fast. worried about the seasonings come out too much, because when I laid it flat and I folded it and I folded it again, that sealed the seasonings in that way. I know this looks like a small piece of meat, but there's a lot of protein, because remember, just 3 little ounces is 25 grams of protein, so there's a lot of protein here, though it looks like a small cut and it's not going to feed a family. It will. If it tastes really good, they'll just want extra, but at least you cover their protein, because they'll say, could you make more? Once you count proteins, you're doing really, really well. I'm going to bake this in an 8 by 8, and I have to get my shortening out, which is another client in. The reason we grease our pans is it makes it easier to clean, and if you're using no stick, they're only going to last a little bit and then they're going to start sticking. That's why I really don't like them that much. I mean, if you want to boil water in them or stock or something, they might last longer. When you start the baking process and stuff with them, like I showed you, that muffin tin was a no stick. It don't stick no more. So we greased everything and kept the meat from sticking, which made it easier on us. Now, you know this meat's going to dry out. I'm going to put fat on it, don't worry. It's in there nice and neat. I could have tied the fat on them, but I chose not to. I'll just lay it on. By the time it's done, the fat will be dry, and I won't have to worry about it. Oh, come on. And don't say anything, it's not the best cut. By the way, you can ask butchers for fat, and how you ask them, it's called a blanket. They'll know exactly what you're talking about. So this fat that I'm putting on here is a blanket, and that's the terminology for it. So you don't make a mistake. Now, if you get like a standing rib roast, and they're gonna cut it for you, they will cut the blanket off. Tell them to leave the fat on. You know, you need it so it doesn't dry out if you're doing a standing rib roast. Because there are some cuts that you actually have to have fat on them or they'll dry out, and then they're not that good. And that's what you don't want to do, is dry it out. As you can see, I cut this and I'm laying this all over this because I know that this is going to dry out. Now, how long am I going to cook it? I have no idea till done. You'll know when it's done when you see it. Well, some people will sit there and turn it on a high heat, like 425 for the first 30 minutes, and then turn it down if you wish. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to cook this just until it's done, and then that will be it. But you can do it that way if you wish. I don't wish, as they say. So when this is done, I'll show you. Take care for now, and I'll see you later. Here's what I did. I boiled some carrots and turnips together. Like I told you, I'm at the end of my vegetables, so I'm using whatever I have in the house. And I am putting some butter on them, and I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of salt on them. I didn't cook them with the salt. I just, just cooked them in some water. That was it. And you have to be careful that I cut my carrots into sticks so it would cook at the same time as the turnips. If you don't, you'll get one done before the other. And that's not what you want done. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on it. No kelp, because it'll interfere with this flavor too. So I am going to do it in the gravy for the roast. And I like doing my salt like this, which is easier. I can control the salt, because remember, sodium it causes high blood pressure and stuff. But you do need the iodine in it, so that's very important. So you do have to have salt. It's just how much you're going to take in. And remember, everything that you buy that's already pre-made has a higher content of salt than what you would. Because it's also, I don't know why they do that much. But anyway, that's what I'm just going to do with the vegetables today. Just add some butter and a little bit of salt and toss them around. And this will go with the roast very nicely. And I still have some of that onion bread left. So I'm going to be using some of the, I'm going to use actually the last of the onion bread. Those 2 loaves lasted. And they went well with what I had with dinner so far. And I just think it'll be excellent with that. And I want to make, like I said, I want to make a gravy to pour over that roast. Not a lot, just a little, because it is a roast. So when you cut the slices, we'll just pour that gravy right over it. And this time, I'll put lecithin into the gravy so you can see how to use lecithin. If you're worried about the cholesterol, we'll take care of that problem as well. Well, anyway, here it is. Carrot and turnips together. I don't know how they're going to taste, but we're going to try them. Okay, here's the roast. I'm going to take the fat off now. There it is. All done. Let me get a plate and put that on so we can get the rest of the stuff going. I know you're not supposed to use a knife. No. Let me go get a saucepan and we'll get this gravy going. Okay, we're going to make the gravy now with these drippings. I'm not making a lot because it's a small roast. So as you can see, when I use the word drippings, this is what we're talking about. This is about 2 tablespoons. We're going to heat this up. And I am going to use wheat flour with this, and we're going to make a roux with it. Now, you have to put equal amounts of flour and the drippings to make a roux, and then from the roux we make a gravy. Let me get my measuring spoons. Now, because, you know what, I just don't want this fat. I also want these drippings here. That's better. See, I wanted to get some of the darkness out of it. Now, what you have to do in a roux is you have to cook this flour. You don't want to burn it, but we're actually toasting, and that's what we're doing. I'm actually walking you through all the steps. So this roux that we're making, I think I have 2 tablespoons, so I have 2 tablespoons of flour. If I need more, we'll know about it. And we're going to cook this. Now, you can use a whisk, a spoon, or whatever to stir this around. But you don't want any lumps. That's the whole object of this. And you don't want to burn it. And I think I got the right amount. So that's going to cook. Now, how are you going to know when this is ready to put the liquid in? It'll smell toasted. That's how you can tell. Some goes quick, some goes fast, slow, fast, whatever, according to the temperature you have underneath. But one thing you don't want to do is smell a burnt smell on it, because that means you've overcooked the flour. Even if you use all-purpose, whole wheat, or whatever flour you use, you don't want to burn it. You just want to toast it. So this is where they say your taste, your smells, and all are very important in the kitchen, because you're going to use all of these, not only just sight, but it's going to be this as well in your mouth, because you will taste things. And your hearing is very important as well, because if you walk away, you'll hear it and say, something's wrong, or something, I've got it going. So in a kitchen, you have a lot of your senses going at the same time. And especially if you're doing more than one thing, you've got to clock that and everything else. And so women get their languages a bit confused. Don't worry about it. They know what they're doing. They just can't remember. You know, they're talking to you, and sometimes it just gets through the head and we forget. Now see, I can smell those lovely seasonings that came through the meat, the flavoring with the flour here. It has a nice smell. Now I'm going to be making a light gravy, which is going to be made with whey, which is a byproduct of making cheese, because I make my cottage cheese, ricotta cheese. I haven't gone any further than that. I want to try making farmer's cheese and slice olives into it, dark and red ones, and see if we can make an olive farmer's cheese. And that would be interesting, and then make some crackers, you know. It'd be different. It wouldn't be bought from the store, but it'd be made in your own kitchen. Because most people say, oh, farmer's cheese is bland. Well, what happens if you put a lot of garlic in it, spice it up, or put seasonings in it? You get the basics, and then just go off with it, and you can make some nice little spreads, you know, little pieces of cheese if you have guests and all. I can start to smell this. It's starting to do what it has to do. And here's my whey. Now the sediments you see down at the bottom, those are building blocks of protein. Use them. Don't waste them and throw them down the sink. Now, if you don't have whey and you've done the vegetables and you have vegetable water, just showing you what you can do, because I did do the carrots and the turnips. You just take it, strain it, because there'll be particles in here. And you just strain it and pour it in and use it as well. So see, you really don't waste. I'm just showing you, because I want to make a whey gravy today. But I threw some vegetables in to show you. Now the only thing I'm going to be adding to this is salt and pepper, because the whey has a nice creamy texture, and when you make gravy, and it's nice. But I want the meat to stand out. But if you use a vegetable stock and it's got strong flavor, you'll make a stronger gravy. If you use milk, you'll have a milk gravy. Now you can, if you're making a gravy and you want to make it nutritious, you can sit there and add powdered milk into it. I'll add some powdered milk just to show you that you can do. And you won't think that I'm joking about it. So your gravies can go in many, many different directions. If you don't have enough milk, you can sit there and add water, but still make it a milk gravy. You can sit there and use stocks. You can combine your stocks if you wish. And if you want to make it more nutritious, because I've already used the wheat flour, it's already got its B vitamins in it. Now I'm going to add some calcium into it. And you don't have to add much. You add a tablespoon of that. Very easy. And then you increase the protein. So you're not limited to just milk or water gravies. I mean, you can really go in a lot of different directions. Now, some of you are worried about the fat because gravy has fat in it, and you're worried about your cholesterol and stuff. Lecithin, granular lecithin. All you do is take a tablespoon. This eats fat up, and the brain needs it as well. The brain uses it. The brain is made up of lecithin. Put it in, stir it around, and as it gets hot, it'll dissolve. And you'll have a nice gravy here, a nice healthy gravy. You saw me use wheat flour, you saw me put the powdered milk in, you saw me use the kelp mixture that I make, salt, a more nutritious salt, and you saw me use the whey and powdered milk. And yeah, I just picked the whole value up of this gravy. Isn't that amazing? And it didn't take much, but it just took a little bit of time. And that's why I bring you over here so you can see some of these things, because you probably question, I don't know if I want to do that. It might interfere with the flavor or something. Lecithin has no flavor. It's flat. It's a byproduct of paint, because paint is made with soy flour. And because if you leave the lecithin into the paint, it streaks. So they take the lecithin out of it, they dry it, and they sell it. And then you have lecithin granulars that you can have. Now, if you want it in the liquid form, I'm going to tell you right now, it is tacky. It's tacky. I've used that too. Now, what's wrong with that gravy? I've made a lovely, nutritious gravy. And it's going to have flavor. It's going to have a milder flavor because I got the roast with so much flavor in it. But if you want to add more seasonings to it, you can. If you want to add the seasonings you did the roast, the no salt herb blend, you can use that in here. So you've got a lot of different directions you can go. Now, if it's too thick, all you have to do is add some whey or water or milk or whatever you're doing. But I wanted to show you you can add all these things and there's no problem with it. I'm going to tell you, those croutons were so good with supper yesterday. Oh, you just pour that gravy on the meat and you just wanted to just dip the croissants in there. It was just fantastic. It turned out so much better than I thought it would. Instead of just the regular way people make it with peas and onions and stuff, I wanted to go in a totally different direction. There's basically nothing that you can make that you can't make it more nutritious for your family. It's just learning how to balance the ratios out. And the reason I know this, I've spent my lifetime doing it, and my husband looked at me. Yeah, we're going to try this. You know, this is where I learned that you don't add too much, but you add enough. And doing with the breads and the rolls, and doing with the gravies, and cooking pasta, and then now how to make my own pasta. It's a whole series. Like I have a rice pudding recipe that's made with wine. I have to go to a winery. And I just found another beautiful recipe. I'm not even going to tell you what it is till I make it. It's a dessert. And it sounds so good. And it's the 1950s, and I never heard of it. My girlfriend gave me a cookbook. She said, "Here, Sandy, I think you'd like this cookbook. It's an old cookbook." She mailed it to me, and I said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you." Okay, we're going to have to taste this. I'll be back. I have to go get a spoon. Now, this is an iced tea spoon, because we used to sweeten our own tea if we wanted it sweet. See, I know this is done. It's as thick as I want it to be. And we're going to have to cut that roast. Oh, I know I shouldn't have stuck it in there, but that's okay. It's my family and me, nobody else. That has such a creamy taste to it. Nice, smooth. Okay, let's get this stuff out here. You can taste the vegetable water I poured in. You can taste the whey. You taste the salt and pepper in it. Nice, but it's very mild. Let me get stuff. Okay, we're going to slice this now. You can see how it is in the middle. See? Yes, we'll be unstringing it as we go. As people want to eat it, they'll just have to unstring it. Now you don't want to cut it too thick. You're cutting it like this. You have to leave the strings on, so the people who get the slices with the string will have to take them off. And there's nothing I can do about that, because we did cut it. So make sure you hold it while you slice it so it doesn't fall apart, because it can unroll. That's what I was trying to warn you about. Well, here's one that came off. always warn people when they come to dinner, if I sit there and I have a string on it, I said you have to look for the strings because I can't find them. Come on. Wait till you see the plate. It really looks nice, and we'll pour the gravy over it, and then that's how it'll be served. So just because somebody's going to work, I'm still going to fix the plate nice to serve. By letting it sit 20 minutes before we cut it, the juices had time to quiet down, which is very, very important. A lot of people don't think about that, but they do have to quiet down before you cut the meat, or the juices will run out and then all the meat will be dry after all your hard work. So while we made the gravy, that happened. Well, I'm running out of room, so I'll just put this piece on the side here. We've got it so far like this. It doesn't take a lot to make a dish appealing for somebody's taste buds. And you have extra gravy. And like I said, if you want scrambled eggs and biscuits, this would be excellent. The extra gravy. That is the platter. I'll bring it up. See how nice it looks? Take care, and listen, I want you to have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.